it's me, Alexa, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're gonna be doing something a little different. So I know there's a lot of videos out there that you don't want to see me react to and I want to watch, so I need to record reactions to, but I'm going to be going to watch KGF Chapter 2 in exactly 3 hours from now. So before I went to go watch it, I wanted to quickly talk about my thoughts on the first film again and also react to my review from the film that I made 2 years ago, back when I first started the channel. This was one of my very first reactions on the channel, so I'm very excited to just look back and maybe cringe a little. So before we jump into my reaction and my review, what a sentence that is, I wanted to quickly kind of say my thoughts from having just rewatched the film, also for the first time since I watched it to make this review that came out 2 years ago. So it was really cool to rewatch it. I had forgotten way more than I thought I had. I really thought he spent most of his time at the mines, and I'm at intermission and I'm like, wait, he's not even at the mines yet. So there's a lot of things that happened that I had forgotten about, so I'm really happy I rewatched it before Chapter 2 came out. Definitely a good thing. And I definitely do like the film. You know, it has such a cool story to it, and Yash is exceptional in it, that I'm definitely intrigued to see how the story ends, and rewatching it did make me extra excited for Chapter 2, which is exactly what I was hoping for, so I'm glad that it worked out like that. The film definitely wasn't perfect. It's very fast-paced, like it almost felt a bit overwhelming, and I think that is also, of course, something to do with the subtitles, you know, having to read them and keep up because they talk very fast, so that helped make it feel more overwhelming than if I understood them speaking, which is just, you know, a fault of not knowing the language, which, you know, I can't really fault the movie for that, that's just on me, but even so, like, looking past that, I feel like there's so much exposition given, like this whole movie almost feels like it's just set up for the second one, which is not a bad thing. Again, seeing as we had to wait 4 years, I know that wasn't the plan with it, obviously, but I'm really looking forward to finally kind of getting the end to that story and seeing how it goes. And it almost, like, as the movie ended, I kind of felt like I can't fully say my thoughts on the first one until I watch the second one, because I feel like they're going to be such a cohesive piece, you know? Like, it's all one story, and yes, it's split across 2 films, but how the story goes, like, what happens in the second one will impact how you feel about certain things that happen in the first one and vice versa. Hey guys, so I recorded this like a week ago now, but last night I actually rewatched KGF Chapter 1 again, so it was my 3rd time watching it, and so I want to add something to what I said about it being fast-paced. I think a main reason for that is actually because of the editing of the film. It is so quick. There are way too many shots shoved into these small segments of time. Like, it just constantly cutting between what you're looking at, and I think that creates, you know, a very high entertaining feel to it, but it also can be a bit overwhelming at times, and I think that's one of the reasons that I can't fully like just love this film, because I think the story is so spectacular. I love the character of Rocky, and I love all the villains and everything that happens in it I love, but because of that, just the editing and the way that it's presented, it just kind of keeps me from putting it in that like favorites list, if that makes sense. I'm intrigued to rewatch Chapter 2 again and see how I feel about it watching it the second time, because the first time, you know, it's such like a spectacle that you're kind of like just watching it and having a good time. So I'm interested to rewatch it again and go a bit more analytical at it and see what my final thoughts are in that Chapter 2 review. But for now, let's go back to this. Yeah, that's all I really want to say right now, and I'm intrigued to see which of these thoughts maybe I said as well last time I reviewed it. I don't know if I'm gonna put like the whole review in here, but I'm intrigued to see what I said.
Hello there, everybody. None has through Alexa. And today I'm going to be
I said my name's Alexa in Canada.
KGF Chapter 1.
I hope I said that right.
Thank you
Oh,
guys for
gosh.
all the positivity on my...
Thank God I stopped doing those edits. Oh my God. I felt that in my core. One fun fact though, I'll say before we jump in. So as you can see, like, there's very clearly a sheet hanging behind me here. So this I recorded during my final semester of college. And I lived in an apartment, and I literally had just a white sheet I went and bought from the store. I had command strip hooks on the ceiling. I cut holes in the sheet and I hooked them into that. And then I had painter's tape that I put on the bottom 2 corners and like stretched out and put on the floor and wall to like try and tighten it. And that was my backdrop, just in the middle of my bedroom. I had to take it down between every video because I couldn't leave. Like, I was like, trapped in my room whenever I did this, and the only light I was using was the window. Arguably a slightly better setup than the one I'm in right now, but obviously my studio one is much nicer, and I'm gonna make a new studio shortly that'll hopefully be even better. But anyways. Oh god, this is gonna be cringy. I look so young. This was only 2 years ago. What happened?
KGF trailer reaction. I got a lot of requests on there to review this movie, and then we made a community post asking you guys to vote for which movie for me to review, and this one.
Oh my god, I'm stumbling over my words so bad.
67% out of the 736
I haven't done
votes, so thank you guys
in a while.
so much.
Poll for something.
Yeah, the other options we had were Merti, which only got 17, Dhruva, which got 14, and Bagamati, which got 2%.
I've now seen Merti, but I've not seen Dhruva or Bagamati.
KGF Chapter 1. It was written and directed by
What was that?
Prashant Neel, and it stars Yash and Sunidhi Shetty. It is a sandalwood
I'm so much
film,
better at
which means
pronouncing
that
now.
it was made
I
in
feel proud
Kannada.
of that.
Just so you know, this is a non-spoiler review. I really enjoyed this movie. The story in it is just absolutely incredible. It like made my heart sad at many points. You know which points I'm talking about. It surprised me in really, well, horrible ways, but like great ways. It was just such a truly beautiful movie. Overall, the story of it was just, it was very
such a poorly
moving
edited
and incredible. Honestly, the whole movie, to its core, is kind of like a tribute to mothers, because that's like Rocky's whole motivation. Yasha's character is what his mother said to him before she passed away, and there's multiple times throughout the movie where it is a mother who like motivates the change and stuff that makes me sound real professional. That motivates all the changes in the film. There's one line, this isn't perfectly translated, but it's like where it says that there's no soldier as strong as a mother, and I just really loved that line. And so to all you mothers out there, thank you. And for all the people who have mothers out there, tell them thank you and that you love them, because they're all incredible. So that wasn't the overarching story, but it was just an undertone of it is like just how incredible mothers are and the struggles that they go through and all the things that they do to help their children. Their mothers are the best. As much as I truly loved the story of this film,
oh, here we go.
I did have a few problems with it. The biggest one.
All right, what were your problems, fast Alexa?
The action sequences. They were really cool. Mm-hmm. They were really fun.
I remembered that I talked about
this. But that editing, it was so fast. I at one point was trying to like count the cuts, and I couldn't keep up with them. Like, by the time I'd finished thinking one, it'd be on cut 3. We'll
pause it quickly. I do still agree with that. I'm always personally gonna be a bigger fan of slower edits with action sequences. That is just what I prefer. Now, I do have to say, reanalyzing it again, and also I watched it on the stream with my friend Austin. It was interesting to hear his thoughts on those, because he actually expressed a viewpoint that I hadn't thought of, which I always appreciate. So I love watching movies with friends. So what he said was, it kind of reminded me of kind of like comic book style, and he thought that the action worked well, how fast it was, because of the fact that it is a story being narrated to us. And that is very true. You kind of forget that a bit as you watch it, because you get so engrossed on the story happening that like whenever they cut back to the 2018, they're talking about it, it is like almost a little jarring at times, because you are so invested in the story that you forget that, oh, they're just telling this story. But I thought that was an interesting take on it. And looking at it like that, I think I can appreciate the fight scenes more than I probably did in this 2019 one. And I mean, I still liked them. Like, the choreography was cool and it had a lot of fun ideas in it. But it's purely a personal preference. I'm always gonna want slower paced editing and like with the cuts for action sequences, because that's just what I prefer to watch. However, I do recognize that it is a tool that can be used, and I don't hate it whenever they do fast-paced editing. is just something that I'm always going to comment on if it's in a film. Like, even if I'm just watching with friends and I might be making a review, I'm going to like comment, that action could have been better, in my opinion, if it was done like this. But many people like it that way, so you know what it is? It's all about preferences. So again, personal preference. I'm pretty sure I go into that after I say this. I like say a long speech about how it's just what I prefer, similar to what I just did. If I do, I'll fast forward through it.
Every movement it cut. And like they did a really good job with the first fight after intermission, or they did a lot better with that, with actually showing the fights. And that was, in my opinion, the most impactful fight of the whole thing. And it wasn't the most important fight either. It was just the one that
I'm gonna disagree with that point.
That fast-paced editing with the action is a tool that is used often in many different, like, in all over the world. I know I've seen it in Hollywood films before, and I'm always not a fan of it. It's definitely just, that's a personal preference. Because you could see that they were all doing these incredible things, and the punches were good, and, like, they all did it well, I believe, but I don't know, because they kept cutting, so it immediately, like, disconnects me from it a little, because I'm like, okay, what's going on? And then it's hard to keep up with. That was something actually for the whole movie I had. It was very, very fast paced, and there'd be times where characters would talk really fast.
I wondered if I was
a pretty fast reader, because I have to do subtitles, obviously. I know it seems like I can speak Kannada from my beautiful pronunciation of my name is, but sadly cannot. It was hard to keep up sometimes. The very beginning was a great example of that, and then there's a few conversations
I definitely still stand by that,
and that's definitely conversations
not something I can fully
fault the film to keep up with, and I couldn't pay attention to what was going on the screen because I had to read so fast, or I'd miss words on the screen because I was trying to look at what's happening. So that made it also a bit harder for me. That's, again, just a problem I had because I do have to read the subtitles in it. Needed to learn.
So it's interesting because I said almost like exactly that before I jumped into rewatching this review. I still stand by that. It's still 100% true. I think I've gotten better at reading subtitles because, like, obviously I'd watched film with subtitles before making this channel. I'd only seen more films in the last 2 years with subtitles, and I think, a lot of that is because of the channel, because I get recommended so many movies, so there's so many more options that I'm made aware of through that, and like through people suggesting stuff. Having this channel definitely lent to it, but I feel like I'm definitely better at reading subtitles, so it wasn't as much this time. Like, I think I was able to keep up better this time than I did when I watched it 2 years ago. So yeah, it's really a comment just on my reading abilities. But the film is fast-paced, I will say. Like, that is still a true comment. It goes from one thing to another very quickly, and it throws a lot of information at you. Like, the first 20 minutes of the film, we already had so much happening, and it just kind of keeps up that pace almost the whole time, with like a few moments to breathe throughout. And I don't think that's a flaw in the movie, it's just a fact about it. It's fast.
Need us to learn one of the Indian languages, so I can just watch it in that every time. But until I'm able to do that,
it's true. I still need to learn an Indian language.
So yeah, those are really my only complaints with the film. Let's jump into more of the things that I loved about this movie. One of the things I really liked was their choice to have the character who wrote the book, and then then the whole story is kind of being told by him telling the story. I really love that use of narration and the cuts to like the present day with him talking to the reporter. I thought they used this really well, especially I liked some moments later on with the person who's serving the tea. I thought that was a really good tool that Prashant utilized really well in this film, in both the writing and the directing. Another thing that was absolutely incredible about this film was Yash. He truly just did a phenomenal job. Every second that he was on that screen, he was Rocky. And Rocky is not a super easy character. He has a lot of layers to him. I mean, he's a violent alcoholic criminal who really loves his mom. To put it as simply as possible, he was so much more than that. To follow Yash as he went on this journey as Rocky was absolutely incredible. What a way with words I have. The whole film, every time he's on screen, I was like, wow. It's just good. The romantic interest, Srinidhi Shetty.
Srinidhi Shetty. Oh my god, I struggled so much.
Well, I
that
wish
name's easy to me now.
Could have been in it a little bit more, but that would have been hard with the amount of story that they were trying to fit in, and it really was about Rocky. But she did a really good job every time she was on screen. I 100% agree with that. And it was really fun to get to kind of go on the journey with her, seeing him as just like this violent criminal, alcoholic guy. into being in love with him. Another thing I really loved about the film were the songs. There are sometimes in Indian films I found where the songs feel like a little out of place. Like it's a little bit like jarring, like, oh, here's a song now. And I still love those songs normally, but it's just, it can be a little bit jarring sometimes if it's like middle of a scene and then all of a sudden they're like in a new location, music starting and they're dancing. And I loved that, do not get me wrong. In this film, I really loved how they incorporated the music into the movie. So
I do want to say it's interesting because I'm now trying to think of if there are any recent films that I felt that way about songs. And I don't know if it's just because I've watched so many more Indian films that I'm just used to it now, or if I've just been watching ones that have done it really well. I'm trying to think of what films I was thinking of back then where the songs felt jarring. It's gonna bug me. Alright, moving on.
Flawlessly. A lot of the songs were actually just over the actual movie footage. It wasn't a cutaway to a dance scene like we normally see. There was, of course, the one item song which Reena shows up to, and that was, I really loved that moment.
Party
they did
song.
a good job, and it was a really fun song too. Yash did a great job dancing, and so did the girl with him. Overall, it is just a truly beautiful story in this journey with Rocky.
It was Tamina, wasn't it? Tamina's the girl in the thing. Yeah, I guess I didn't recognize Tamina yet. Wow. I've learned so much.
Cannot wait to see more about Chapter 2 and to watch Chapter 2 whenever it comes out. It's going to be... The first film just ended, like, immediately as it ended.
You had to wait a long time.
Where's the next one? I'm sure it'll be worth the wait. I'm excited to see Yash come back as Rocky and Trinity to come back as Reena. Maybe she'll have more in the second one. That would be really fun. It's a really emotional film. The scenes with the slaves later on, they really... were just heart-wrenching. It truly heart-wrenching, the whole thing.
Yeah, it was hard to watch.
I won't go into too much detail because this is a non-spoiler review.
While it's a fictional story,
I can't really go into much more detail about anything without giving away spoilers. So let's say I really enjoyed this film. It was emotional. It was so strong in almost every way, and yeah, I liked that film a lot. Good job, Prashant and Yash and everyone else involved in making this movie. Really great job. I'm excited to watch more Sandalwood films and more Indian films in general. Thank you guys so much for continually suggesting that I watch this. So that I did, and now I love it. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, feel free to leave a like, comment, or subscribe. And I hope that you have a wonderful day. Bye.
What an abrupt bye. Hey, my outro's the same. Oh no, this is different. Oh, it's just plain. I don't have the little shark moving yet. I feel like I'm better than that now. Am I though? I don't know. A couple cringe moments. I definitely was stumbling over my words. I think I had a lot less confidence in my review then than I do now. I remember these first 2 reviews I made, I was really nervous because there was always something I struggled with even in my film classes, like fully writing my essay analyses of movies, you know, which I had to do quite often. I would always feel so not confident in my thoughts, like in second guessing myself, like what if what I'm thinking is wrong. So I definitely have grown in the fact that I've become more confident in myself and my ability to analyze films and have my opinions and stand by those opinions, which, you know, has been a personal thing with films. And I think that makes my reviews better on here, and also one of the reasons why I want to start doing more, because I feel like the more I do, the more confident I become in it. But KGF Chapter 1, I mean, we'll talk about it a bit more specifically. But that was fun to reflect on. I feel like I need to rewatch more of my videos. I always cringe a lot, so I don't, you know, I watch them, of course, as I edit them, and I always watch them all the way through after I'm done editing to make sure I didn't miss anything or any, like, mistakes, so there's, you know, an issue with it. But... these older ones, I definitely cringe a bit whenever I watch. I'd be interested to watch my very first review, Saho. Maybe I'll do that sometime. If you guys enjoyed this, where I rewatched my old reviews and reacted to it, let me know. Maybe if there's any of my other old reviews you want me to like rewatch the film for and then do this for again, let me know. But I definitely also want to start making new reviews, and so that'll probably be more of a focus. But you know, this is fun. I actually really enjoyed this as much as I cringed at certain moments, so I'd definitely be down to do it again. And I also do still agree with most of what I said in that. I kind of paused and said all my thoughts throughout. I think it's an amazing story with beautiful messages in it. Action sequences were a little fast cut for my preference, but again, you know, I think I can see a bit more why it was chosen now than I did back then, and so I have a bit more of an appreciation for it. But I still not a fan of it because again, that's my preference. And also, the whole film itself is very fast-paced, which is, again, not like a huge negative, just a statement about it. It's like how some films I feel are slow-paced. This one I felt was a little fast-paced. how I felt. Yeah, I'm really excited about watching KGF Chapter 2 in just a couple hours. I probably won't be able to edit and post this till after I get back from the movie. So it'd be cool to watch everything I said now and then watch the next film and see how my opinions have maybe like been altered about the overall story. Because, you know, it'll be intriguing for sure. I'm gonna try and have a review for Chapter 2 out by this weekend as well. I want to try and do that fast. Hopefully I'll have a much faster turnover rate than my RRR one. You know, life's been a little hectic with my move and everything, but I'm definitely looking forward to watching the film and sharing my thoughts with you guys and hearing all of your guys' thoughts in the comments. But for now, that's all I have to say about KGF Chapter 1 and my 2-year-old review of KGF Chapter 1. Let me know all of your thoughts on the first film and all of your excitements about the second one, or if you've watched the second one, let me know your thoughts on it. But definitely, if you write anything spoiler, especially about the second one, make sure to leave a warning, because we don't want to ruin it for anybody, especially as it's just coming out as I'm posting this pretty much. So be kind to others and don't ruin the movie for them. But thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure that like button and subscribe and comment to let me know if you want to see more of this kind of thing. And yeah, that is all. Hope you all are staying safe out there and have an absolutely amazing day, guys. Bye!